Even the most ardent Sonic the Hedgehog fanatics should agree that Frontier's gameplay footage revealed at the start of June 2022 was a tad rough around the edges. To put it bluntly, reception was mixed. Complaints, including visual pop-in and sparse open-world design, blight what should have been a triumphant month for Sonic Team. After all, they're pinning their hopes on Sonic Frontiers, setting a new benchmark for the blue blur in 3D. His first foray into open world, a conceptual shift as seismic as 1998's Sonic Adventure, a redemptive sunrise for Sega's beleaguered mascot. Sonic Team head developer Takashi Iizuka and Frontiers game director Morio Kishimoto have come out swinging in defense of their latest attempt at a solid 3D Sonic experience. Not least in their defiance of the gratefully short-lived #Delay Sonic Frontiers campaign, but in providing responses that directly address the growing discourse surrounding the gameplay reveal. Firstly, the footage shared is from an earlier build of the game, and consequently, any technical shortcomings currently present will be glossed over come Frontier's actual release at the tail end of 2022. And secondly, the sparsity in Frontier Starfall Island's open world is by design. It's meant to be wide open to take best advantage of Sonic's speedy skills. To help us understand this point, Sonic Team are proposing a new gameplay genre and interpretation of open world game designs that they're coining Open Zone. As Kishimoto explains, the footage we're privy to thus far depicts an explorable overworld, essentially a playable world map with linear stage-like elements discoverable within. Sure, it quells hype when a game's creatives need to bolster its defense months before release. But on the other hand, it's heartening that they have absolute belief in the project, and that the playtesters are reportedly loving the open zone experience thus far. Is Frontier simply a case of muddled marketing? Does the adage "don't judge a book by its cover" apply? A point of contention is that Sonic Team are touting open zone designs as revolutionary, when in fact its description resembles the free-roaming nature of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Heck, it even sounds like Sonic Adventure's combination of hub areas with action stage offshoots, albeit hopefully without loading screens. Heart Machine's Solar Ash released last year, whilst not truly open world, is a great example of a seemingly large-scale biome intricately designed to funnel players towards linear paths. In an interview, Sonic Team head Iizuka cautions fans on drawing too many comparisons to games that are already out there. Of course, watching Sonic free roam across mountainous islands is initially going to look like he's been transplanted into Tamriel, but Iizuka assures us that Sonic's platforming elements, the loops, speed boost pads, and grind rails, will evolve, transforming the island the more players explore, building gradually into a larger playground. Whatever Open Zone turns out to be, it honestly sounds a damn sight more interesting than the bland open world depiction in the early build footage, where Sonic aimlessly blitzes through verdant plains and nondescript forests, dodging crumbling ruins of a mysterious ancient civilization. A widespread feeling with Starfall Island is that, as an explorable environment, its aesthetic is pretty generic. It pays homage to Breath of the Wild and Shadow of the Colossus a little too closely, as if a conventional open world akin to the Kingdom of Hyrule or the Forbidden Plains has been created before Sonic's archetypal loops, and the grind rail obstacles have been randomly littered across the landscape. Instead, the premise of tightly designed levels existing within vast open spaces, discoverable by solving environmental puzzles or overcoming robotic enemies, whilst not entirely novel, is a pretty promising design approach. It remains to be seen how spaciousness and linearity can combine without hiccup, but if the recent Nintendo Switch trailer is anything to go by, it looks like they'll meld very nicely indeed. For those who haven't seen the Switch trailer, we get our first glimpse at these linear stages in action. They're grassy checkerboard loops and floating platforms reminiscent of Sonic the Hedgehog's Green Hill Zone, and spaghetti-like highways complete with road signs, car traffic, and crucially, more than one possible route. If Starfall Island lacks any memorable or unique visual identity, then these action stages more than make up for it. Sonic's 1990s 2D aesthetic is iconic, so it's wonderful to catch glimpses of this in a fast-paced 3D mold. These levels exist in a realm known as cyberspace, and are accessible via shrines dotted throughout the open zone, presumably left as relics by Starfall Island's ancient civilization, the Coco. Frontier's gameplay loop then appears to entail Sonic's exploring the island to find and complete challenges and side quests, the completion of which rewards him with portal gears that'll unlock these entrances to cyberspace. Blasting through the levels therein unlocks vault keys that are required to progress the main story. Whilst exploration and freewheeling traversal are key mechanics that'll keep players engaged, there's also an increased emphasis on combat, with enemies now displaying a health gauge during encounters. Sonic's moveset in Frontier certainly appears more fluid than 3D Sonic titles up till now though. Players can take on the game's roaming robots strategically if they wish, with dodges, parries, and homing attacks that'll lock onto enemies, with the ability to chain attacks together in deadly combos that'll rack up damage points. There are also rather colossal mechs roaming the land too, with these encounters of course reminiscent of Shadow of the Colossus. Colossi are the aforementioned Solar Ash, whereas taking down the humongous bosses in those games require a combination of skills and cunning from the player. Defeating the mechs in Sonic Frontiers doesn't appear as challenging, at least initially. Hopefully, these aren't rudimentary roadblocks and instead are meaningful boss encounters that'll contribute to the narrative whilst being rewarding to defeat. The new Cycloop ability, whereby Sonic can run literal rings around opponents, creating a band of shimmering light with which to surround enemies, looks pretty fun at least. It's worth saying again that responses from playtesters have so far been extremely positive. Fingers crossed Sonic Frontiers will be a game that'll play much better than it looks. Technical shortcomings aren't enough reason to be concerned at this stage, though as there's still plenty of time left for the devs at Sonic Team to iron out any kinks before the game is released to PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, Xbox, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One, and PC come holiday season 2022. No, the main cause for concern centers on how Sonic Team will blend all Frontier's disparate elements into a cohesive whole. The light RPG mechanics, skill trees, and collectible types of open world games haven't even had a mention in this feature yet, and they're just one of several new features intended to break Sonic free of the prevailing mediocrity in 3D Sonic titles. Not everything has been bad since Sonic transitioned to 3D in the late 1990s, but it's fair to say that the series needed a revamp. For all the negativity surrounding Sonic Frontiers thus far, there's also a fair share of cautious optimism amongst the fandom. Sonic Team are genuinely trying something different with Sonic Frontiers. They're striving for greatness. They're shooting for the stars. And on a personal note, I really, really want this game to be special. Because we deserve it. And Sonic deserves it. What are you most looking forward to with Sonic Frontiers? Me? I'd personally like to fly around as Tails, or chain some deadly combos as Knuckles. Did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.